I just feel like the first 3 months of us dating, it didn't even rain.
That's fair.
I don't remember a single gray day. But I think back to that period, I'm like, it was sunny every day.
Yeah, I'm not to say
and it was summer, but I just don't remember rain.
That's a good point. I like that, how you said it. And whether it be emotionally or actually, I don't know if it actually did rain because we hung out every day, literally every day. I think we missed a week or so out of the whole summer that we didn't see each other. Something crazy.
But not a week together.
Not a week together. It's a day here, once a week.
We were seeing each other. Remember, 28 out of 30 days.
Yeah, right. Crazy. For an hour or for the whole day. We saw each other every day, and we didn't grow tired of each other. We didn't fight with each other. Not to say you're not supposed to fight with someone that you're interested in, but we just knew that this is smooth. This is really, really nice. I found someone good. I found a good thing. I found a good thing, and I wanted to treasure that.
I'm his good thing.
So, something that we've noticed is we'll be having great conversations, and we will joke one of two ways. We'll say, stop, save it for the pod, or it'll be 2 a.m. or whatever, and we're like, we should have been recording, which leads us to today, where we stayed up quite late.
He was meeting my family. We were hanging out in groups and still fun. He wasn't a different person in different contexts.
Yeah.
He's cool. I was oh, he's disciplined.
Yeah, and I think for me, I was ready for not
Pause.
marriage.
Let me make sure I understood that.
Yeah.
There were indicators that you had value for that were in place and seemed sturdy, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, because I said I wanted a man who loved the Lord, and I didn't know exactly what that meant. I just was I just want somebody who loves the Lord. And then I kept seeing things of someone who loved the Lord. Mm-hmm. So it's not I went in and was I want someone who loves the Lord, and I'll know they love the Lord by these things. Mm-hmm. I did not know what that was, but I knew it when I saw it. And he was showing those things. So I was I don't know why I would stop that, because he loves the Lord, and he's showing that he loves the Lord because he's doing these things that I didn't have a preconceived notion about. Mm-hmm. And because I held him like this, and I would ask the Lord, I had peace about it. Mm-hmm. I was okay. And the Lord's going to tell me, because I had experienced not having peace about relationships before. Mm-hmm. So I knew if I had peace to keep moving forward. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people, they're ask the Lord, I don't hear him say anything. They just stop all things and don't make any decisions. I've never been that way when it comes to making decisions with God. I have momentum, I move forward, and normally the Lord puts a roadblock. And then I'm okay, heard.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, seeing the Lord. And I don't know if I was as mature in faith. Of course I wasn't, as she was at the time. So I don't know if I was bringing everything to the Lord and submitting everything to him in prayer.
Had you sought the Lord before you met me about the potential of a spouse or finding somebody?
Yeah,
because I think about Isaac with Rebecca, right?
Nose ring.
And the and then the servant, the servant's this is what I hope to see. So he sought the Lord before. And the whole interaction, he's not seeking the Lord the whole time. He's waiting for confirmation. So I guess, did you do that before at all?
Well, I think I would say perhaps that. I got maybe look at my journal. Perhaps some of that was revealed during the fasting. I think that was preparation for whatever the Lord would have for me, whether it be seminary or anything, any major event. So I think, I think my spirit man was prepared in a lot of ways to receive. And I think, like I said, between the relationships and the community we had, but also spoken to who I was and spoken to who, what is this? Define a relationship. And then also, I think I was just more or less ready for a natural, serious relationship. I probably enough bad relationships. I had enough. I think at this point, I'm actually wanted to date someone that is serious for the Lord, that loves the Lord,
Because you saw those indicators.
Yeah, it's
those were enough to move forward.
This is someone who The previous people were just all jokers, right? These are just...
What made you make me start to watch Thank God I'm Married when we were in our first 2 weeks?
Right, so I think that was important as well. That crossed my mind too. So like, I knew that this was someone that could potentially, because you were a woman of faith, that was big, because I didn't really date anyone that was strong in their faith prior to you, right? I think there was, everyone I dated prior to you.
Home run. Literally.
Compromise, I had to compromise my morals, or maybe I compromised their morals, every time. So this is like, okay, this is a real deal, woman right here, a woman of faith that likes me, that is like, I'm interested in her. There's something here. Something's happening here, Lord. So let me just expose her to another part of my life. I've been watching the series even before I was married. I call Thank God I'm Married, and because I want to get married at some point, and maybe she wants to get married at some point. I wonder what she thinks about this preacher here. I've been a huge fan of day one of Eric Thomas, and let's see what she thinks about, Thank God I'm Married. We were going to get somewhat serious. I don't know if we were even official or even exclusively dating. Maybe we were exclusively dating.
Yeah.
Maybe we were exclusively dating. Had to be.
I just remember being like, oh my gosh, we're watching a marriage series. This is crazy.
Yeah, but I think that didn't scare you away, so that was a good sign. Yeah, and I just knew that I couldn't play any games with her, right? I knew that she was a serious woman. She's actually a believer. She loves the Lord, for real. And, okay, Lord, I'm ready for this. I'm ready to date someone for real. That's for real, like, not fake. But, someone that loves the Lord, knows the Lord, that I'm equally yoked to, finally. And so I think that was my indicator. Like, this is someone that I think the Lord approves of. Let me see what she thinks about some premarital. And let me see.
That's what we call it. Premarital.
Let me see, like, this is someone that's pouring into my life, even remotely, via video, a pastor I looks up to. Let me see what she thinks about this series and go from there. Like I said, everything was just natural, right? Everything was just a natural progression, natural conversations, even serious conversations came up naturally. I think that's what it was. Man, I haven't been in a relationship like this before, where the Lord was blessing, truly. Yeah. We were just dating each other. We were just the best. We were just best friends hanging out. It was like conflict-free, healthy, spiritually.
Probably helps that you gave me the nonviolent communication book.
I think that helped. Like, I don't know. It's funny because I think an ex gave me that book. Like, what you gave me this book for? You're the crazy one. Anyways.
Things I didn't know.
And I was like, this is my first thought. I was like, did you know that?
And so I read the book. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you think you're on this way? Like, which is fine. I read it. I was like, but, okay.
Let me do none of this.
Well, fine. Let me give it to someone else. Let me see what they think about this. Just because I do want nonviolent communication. And it's true. I didn't know that maybe I was doing this to some degree. Maybe I was being violent or judgmental in my speech. Perhaps I was on some level. Fine. I'm going to change. But also, this is actually good wisdom here. I'm not really spiritual. Definitely, not a Christian book. But sound principles of not judging someone. Don't evaluate someone. Just observe, right? This is what I observe, So, anyways, I think that was helpful tips going into my next relationship. So I took that with me, where it worked. And I was tired of just messing around with different women that were no good for me. So, yeah, I think it's like there was moments where I just wanted to see where she was. Like, let me see if she would read this book. Let me see if she would be offended by this book. Let me see if she agrees about, nonviolent communication. How does she communicate? I think communication is very important to me.
I was like, oh, he reading books?
He reads books?
I read books.
It's also smart to see how you would react.
It's like, how do you read? It's like
you're testing me the whole time.
Like, okay, let me see how I really value this man. I really value this pastor. I think he's great. I think he's biblical. All these different things. What, she's going to get thrown off? She's going to, get cold feet? Is she going to run away about if I send it?
But you should have known I wasn't about to do all that when I gave you a spiritual gifts test and analyzed it in Excel.
Sure. Maybe she was testing me out. She literally tested. I didn't know what my spiritual gifts were. So I think we were testing each other in healthy ways. We weren't trying to give impossible challenges to each other, but we just wanted to see how this person responds to these different situations. To what was this person's values? And I didn't even know what my spiritual gifts were. Prior to her sending me a spiritual gifts test. So she was literally testing me as well. And it's like, okay, what is this man about? What are you built on? And
what are you built on?
For real. And so how would you respond in these situations? And I think that was some of my indicators to keep moving forward. Yeah, was it be emotionally healthy or spiritually healthy? Different things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very cool. Very useful. Everything else said. So you guys kind of alluded to the fact that it's kind of like you were very clear about, my stipulation is that I wanted someone that loved the Lord, but I didn't really know what that looks like. But then I was like, when I saw it, I knew. And so that was indication to move forward. Yeah. William, you just had your own little levels of kind of testing the water, seeing how things would go, and then evaluating from there. I imagine that like if she did freak out, that may not have been a deal breaker, but it would have like been data for the file.
Yeah, she might be crazy.
Yeah, she might be. That's what worked through that. Maybe we'll see, but that's data for the file. I'm not gonna stop talking to her right now, but you know.
I did it worse, but okay. All right.
Just data for the file. But you kind of alluded to along the way, like at first, it's not like you brought like every single little thing to the Lord, but and you're like, you know, she was definitely more spiritually mature than me.
Oh, for sure.
But at some point, things change and you end up fasting for 7 days. How do we go from like, oh, like she's more mature than me, we vibing, oh no, this is really serious, I'm fasting for 7 days.
I mean, somewhere in between that, between January and March, I was fasting for 7 days just to confirm, Lord. I was like, okay, just to make sure, Lord, this is your daughter here, you know? I don't want to mess this up, Lord. I want to know that I'm hearing from you right.
During this fast, was it like a, yes, son, marry Ariel?
It was just confirmation, you know? I think I already had a lot of signs pointing me into this, and I just thought that this was less about hearing from the Lord that this is the one I'm supposed to marry, that was the case, but it's also about like preparing me too. Like, I want to be cleansed. I want to be ready
and approved.
I want to be approved. I want her to know that I take this seriously, and I take this very seriously. So I'm going to be taking this very seriously moving forward as well. And I think just like the calling to ministry is like a high calling. I know the calling to being a husband is first to the Lord and to my wife, you know, so, and then to my kids. I wanted to set that and continue that, and I think...
And also fasting allows for clarity. So it's like, when you were in that fasted state, like, if it was a no, you'd be able to hear that better than not being in a fasted state.
Absolutely. If I got a no, I think I would have been like, oh, that's definitely a no. That's a resounding no. Versus like, oh, I don't think so. I like her, and, you know... If I would have been listening to other voices and convincing myself, rationalizing, like, that wasn't the no. That wasn't for the Lord.
In her anime eyes, just looking at
right.
like a puppy.
Right.
She loves me already, God. How are you going to tell me no?
Exactly. But in the fasting stage, it's like, listen, I'm listening to you. Because I ain't hearing nothing else. I'm just hearing you. So I'm in seminary. I don't even know. Like, I'm in seminary, fasting. I'm on campus. And, the Lord, you know, he didn't say no. He, you know, confirmed. And like I said, no special revelation. Just, you know, just married a girl already, okay? Just confirmed that, yes, I was on the right path. Yes, I'm hearing from him. Yes, I'm in the right spirit to do this.
Mm-hmm. You created room for the Lord.
Yeah, just creating room for the Lord. You know, miracles can happen. Opening my finances miraculously to afford a ring to begin with. I was like, Lord, these things are expensive.
The Lord said, are you willing to sell everything so that you can buy this woman a ring?
Yeah, so...
I said, Lord, no.
Making adjustments. All that. Anyways, so we were dating seriously at this point. You know, I guess it was around month 6. I don't know if it was the exact month, but it was probably January, February. I'm at Life Connection Church. Great church. I was doing my internship, my apprenticeship, residency, whatever. As an intern there, you know, teaching, giving announcements at the church, whatever. And then one of the pastors, his mom does jewelry. I was like, okay, well shoot. So we can give you a nice little deal, whatever. So I was like, I don't even know the first thing about getting a ring, whatever. But things are getting kind of serious, you know. We're going to different conferences, and you know, people are, you know, has eyes on our relationship, praying for us and everything like that. It's okay, man, this is crazy. I might marry this woman. I can see myself doing the thing with this woman, like.
But I already said I love you.
Yeah, we love each other. You know,
at the 3-month mark.
Something like that. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
September.
Yeah, it was like
it's a great month.
Started dating January.
Yeah, it's like
June, and then
it was like
September.
Who said it first?
Oh no,
probably.
No, you said it first.
Yeah, probably.
But I was like, I've been waiting.
She was ready for it. She was ready.
You say in person, you texted.
Oh, it's in person.
This is in person. We were at a conference.
Mm-hmm.
In St. Louis.
Yeah, yeah.
And
with the Wades.
With the Wades.
They go with us everywhere, huh?
Yeah. No, yeah, they were in Hawaii.
So funny that I've never met the Wades, but I feel like they're such a staple.
They are.
They moved to Oregon now.
Yeah. We're 6 months into serious dating. You know, we love each other. Everything's great.
We love each other so
much.
He said it at the conference. He said, I love you.
Yeah, for sure.
He did. It was after a fight.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I guess we did have some fights, you know.
Yeah, we had a fight.
Yeah,
that's good.
I don't even remember what it was about because, my memory is terrible. But I remember there was a fight, and then some type of resolution, and you said, I love you. And I was like, oh.
I think I first asked your dad and or your brother for their blessing. Before I even think about a ring, like, I can't pursue if the males in your family don't agreed to this. So, I mean, you can't just, I didn't think they were going to say no, but I had to man up. I had to do the thing, right? I don't know. That's what you're supposed to do. I don't even think I asked my parents, like, what do I do? How do I do this? But also, because I'm a man, I'm an adult. I can do my thing. Like, if I want to marry this woman, what? So, I don't even think I got
She's really impressive at 25.
Yeah, I'm living on my own, you know.
At this point, he's almost 26.
Yeah, at this point, I might be already 26. I'm not either 26.
February, about to be.
So, yeah, I'm not 26 yet. And, she met my parents or whatever. She came with me in November, I think, something like that. For Thanksgiving.
2 months after the I love you.
Yeah. So she saw my parents or whatever. I met her parents numerous times. So, okay, cool. We're moving forward. My parents are probably be happy. No more. So anyways, I get probably her dad's first, then her brother's blessing, you know. And it was a real serious thing. I was like, I've never been so scared. I mean... He looked into my soul. He looked into my soul. Like it was crazy.
He's so nice.
No, he was very. He knew what I was there for. You know what I mean?
Grim.
Like he's. I
That's amazing.
didn't know. I just kind of kept it short. I kept it succinct and straightforward.
Okay.
He said okay. He said you know, he just gave his warnings that he'll kill me, and basically,
I will set you on fire.
Basically, yeah, all of.
I'm not from Oleta. I'm from Lagos.
Yeah.
That is, very dangerous.
Yeah. So after he made sure that I take care of her and respect her and love her and everything, treat her right.
In other words, I'm dangerous.
I'd kill you.
Right.
I will kill you.
I will find you.
He was very, very serious. He was very. I was like, why are you so serious? Holy cow! So after your dad approved in his own Nigerian way, I left there fast, and I didn't talk to Ariel because I think we drove up together. And then I was like, I don't want to talk about it. I was doing your dad or whatever.
Oh wait, so you dropped mom?
I think she went upstairs or talked to Ray J or something like that. Or maybe you just dropped off and went around or something.
So you knew that he was probably asking your dad.
Probably. She probably had an inclination, probably.
You did know. You remember. Don't act like you didn't. It's rolling, but you can be honest.
Yeah, so that was
It's hard to keep surprises for me.
Sure. So I did that, and then eventually I go over to her brother's house. I get alone time with him, some kind of way, So after I got their blessing, then I was like, okay, I think that was a confirmation from the Lord, These are the men in our family. Okay, cool. Let me now start thinking about how I'm even gonna. I did the hard part. That was the hardest part. But no, there's more hard parts to come. So how do I get a ring, right? So I proposed on the day of our first date. I think you know the story from there. But yeah.
1 year from our first date.
Yeah, a year from our first date. I was like, yeah, time to do this thing.
I actually didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, so yeah.
April 22nd.
Big day.
Yeah, she knew it was a big day, but she didn't know how big of a day it was. She just knew we were celebrating our anniversary of our first date. But it also was a great smoke screen for the perfect proposal ever. And then if you thought that was a great first date, this is going to be a great follow-up to that. And so I get the ring at some point, I think definitely March, April-ish. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to propose this woman fast. Like, I can't, I'm putting it in different places in my, in my dorm, on campus. I am freaking out. Every time I'm looking at it, oh, what did I just do? I bought probably the most expensive, smallest thing I've ever bought in my life. Like, I got it. Wow. I'm just looking at this is a real thing. I did it. I'm here now. I just gotta ask her out. Like,
no turning back.
Ain't no turning back now.
He had no doubt I was gonna say yes.
Of course.
It's not like he was nervous about that.
It was just,
I have decided.
You're right. Yeah, for sure.
To marry.
Yeah,
The other thought I had was, okay, Bill's been talking for a lot of this, but which is good. And I was like, this is going to be really helpful for dudes. And then I thought, wow, I really admire, this has all happened in this 3 second span. But I was like, I really admire how Bill is making such an emphasis on, like, I was a man. Like, I am a man. I'm making decisions as, like, a grown man should, right? And it's like, what made you a man? You know what I mean? And like, how help the men out there. Like, I think of
just man up.
No, literally, I think about like every boy that I've dated, and I'm like,
can't imagine.
there's such a disconnect. Like there's always something lacking in their like maturity and their ability to stand as a man in every category where it matters.
Wow.
It's like it's lacking in one of them.
Wow.
At least.
Yeah.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. And I don't know the answer for every man. I think for me at the time,
Cool.
you know, I was connected to the Lord. You know, I was connected to a healthy church. I think my identity was not fully whole, but on the mend. And I think my identity was getting more and more rooted in Christ. So I think that helped. I think living on my own for many, many years, like 2-3 years prior, was helpful.
He cooked his own meals.
I think I cooked, you know, I cooked my own meals.
Decorated his own bathroom. That was crazy.
I was,
Hey.
I walked into his bathroom. I was like, "What is happening?"
So I did this myself.
Actual decor that he like.
I dyed rice and put them in jars and stuff.
Everything was like it had like a peach situation. I was like,
good for you,
it was
William.
crazy.
I was living on my own and making my own. I was ready to, I think, retrospect, I can't say that then or whatever. Like I left and was ready. I was leaving Cleveland. I was making my own, reading books.
Personal development was very important.
Personal development was very. I was really.
I mean, that's great.
Yeah,
that's important.
I think spiritual development and personal development was very high.
Okay.
Very high. Like,
because I mean, I feel like there's so many guys that like have an emphasis, even down to like, I do breathing. It's like cool, you know. But it's like you're.
No, sure. But yeah, I just think that's a good point. Yeah, personal development, spiritual development, and I mean, at some point, you know, physical. You know, I was.
But it wasn't just personal development for personal development's sake. It happened to be things that contribute towards him being a better man, not towards things so that he could get more money. Like they weren't superficial.
Yeah.
Things.
I think maybe there's maybe you are doing more tailored things to your values, because if it's not as dumbed down as like, oh, I'm doing this so I can be a businessman and make money, it's like, oh, like this is the next right thing, or this is like the popular thing for a man to do, or this is a popular thing for men to learn about, or like, you know, this is a manly thing to do.
Okay, so
does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So I think I was, and I think hopefully this is a principle that people can take away. I was trying to make myself as attractive as possible, right? As attractive as possible, like working out, attractive spiritually, physically, all those things, financially. And so it wasn't attractive. I met her, like it wasn't attractive that I didn't have a passport, right? I've never been out of the country before.
Didn't tell him that.
But in my mind, it wasn't attractive not to have a passport. There's so many men that don't have a passport. I'm not saying you won't get a girl if you don't have a passport. But I know if I wanted that girl, I needed to get a passport, right? It was not attractive. I was hanging out with that girl and this girl group. You know, all these girls have like PhDs and master's degrees. It was not attractive for me to just have a bachelor's, right? I needed to be the first person in my family to get a master's degree. So I manned up and I said, Lord, I can't afford it. I don't know the first thing about seminary, master's degree. No one in my family's got a master's degree.
There's something you said right there that's extremely important.
Yeah.
Note how he was like around certain people and it made him want to level up.
Right.
And like I could have told you what one of the things that drew me to him was I didn't feel like I needed to be less than who I was at all. Right? So like I was really outgoing. Well, he was also really outgoing. Like, he just always matched my energy. You know what I mean? And he could have been like, oh, you know, you speak another language. Right. Well, he's like, listen, I'm going to use my rudimentary French. Right. And he would text me in French, and I would respond back in Spanish, you know. And with the travel thing, I didn't even know he was getting his passport. It wasn't until later on that we looked, and he received the actual passport the day he asked me to be his girlfriend, which was hilarious.
Yeah, my issue date for my passport was the day I asked her out. And it's like, we didn't know that to recipe when we looked at the passport.
I didn't even know he was applying.
She didn't even know anything.
So he could have been like, oh, you travel out, that's cool. I don't even have a passport. None of that.
I didn't say nothing.
He's like, oh, woman travels a lot. I should probably level up and also make it so that I'm able to travel a lot.
Yeah, my family hasn't been out of the country, but I'm not going to make an excuse like, oh, well, like, I'm going to get a passport. How much does a passport cost? Let me look it up. How much? What did I do to get a passport? Okay, cool. Like, I didn't expect her to be anything less than what God called her to be. I know what God's called me to be, though. And so, yeah, I want to be attractive as possible. So this is the things I did. I liked what you said there. Like, there was people around me that made me uncomfortable, right? I was uncomfortable. I just so happened to be around people that brought the best out of me. Like I said, for me to have a chance with her, I need to get a passport. For me to have a chance with any of this girl circle, I don't know who it's going to be, but they all got masters and all this kind of stuff. So I need to get one too. And those are kind of examples where I don't expect them to like, oh, it's okay that you just have a bachelor's. Like, no, I didn't say anything, but I moved. I think some people have a lot of yes people, around them, or people just kind of hang out with people that they are already like kind of superior to, but like,
they like being a big fish.
Yeah,
for example.
Like you're already the big man on campus, and you're like, everyone looks up to you. I was putting myself in situations where I didn't know anything, or I was the least qualified, and I was the least attractive, and I had to step up. So I had to be uncomfortable. It's like, I was like, wow. So I was okay with surrounding myself with people that were better than me, that were out of my league, and try to get in their league. He was like, I'm trying to break into the league. I know I don't have the skill sets. I know I'm the least likely, but I'm going to give them all. I'm a man, and I got skills, and I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to use the hand that God dealt me. And,
a learner, for sure.
I love to learn.
Strengths.
I
don't know.
Hashtag strengths finder.
Yeah, I got some strengths,
But I guess that kind of brings me back to that initial thought of like, it wasn't as simple as personal development for the sake of personal development, because that's like what's popular or what would be potentially useful, or like a weird desire that you had. It's more so, it sounds like it was tailored to the things that you wanted to grow in where you were lacking.
Yes.
So I think that's a huge skill to be able to be like, oh, I'm lacking in this area.
Right.
I need to level up here.
Absolutely.
And having a specific, like, there's precision in that. It wasn't like,
but it's also a belief that when you're lacking in an area, that you have the tools that you need to grow in that area. I think a lot of people, when they're lacking, they feel insecure or inadequate, and they get stuck in that place.
Yeah. That could have been.
And they either tear themselves down or they tear the other people down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like that wasn't his mindset. Maybe because he's a middle child.
I thought that. I was going to say that.
Oh, for real?
Oh, yeah.
No.
I thought that earlier.
I definitely wanted to continue, like, I'm going to get a Bible. I'm going to buy a Bible. Like, I don't have a Bible. I'm a Christian. What kind of Christian am I? I'm going to buy a Bible. I don't know. Dollar store. I'm pretty sure you got them at the dollar store. How much does the Bible cost? I don't need a fancy one. I don't know nothing about nothing. KJV? Sounds good to me. Okay, whatever. What is this? What language is this? Is this English? I thought you said... Anyways, I'm going to read this thing.
Shakespeare?
Is this Shakespeare? That's what I'm thinking. I was like, I'm going to read this. I'm going to read it cover to cover. Where do I begin? I'm going to start at the front. That's how I read a book, right? I'm going to start at the front, read it. I'm going to read it every day. Read it every day until I'm done reading it. When I'm done reading it, I guess I'm going to read it again and again until it falls apart. Or until, I just think that's the kind of mentality I had. And I think that attracted her a little bit. And it was helpful. Even if it didn't attract her, I knew it would attract somebody at some point.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm thinking back to a moment ago when Ariel was talking about, like, rather than allowing yourself to be defeated and stay there, like, even you made it even more specific when you talked about like how he could have had the mindset when you said you travel and you like all that. He could be like, oh, well, I don't travel, I don't have a passport. He could have just said that in a discussion.
Right. I didn't say nothing. I was like,
you're like,
I just like you said,
noted.
Noted.
Mm-hmm. And we went to 3 different countries in our first year marriage.
For sure.
So I'm so glad.
But like, for me to even have a chance with this girl, like, global citizen. I didn't even have a concept. I'd never been out of the country. None of my family's ever been out of the country. That was never even on my radar. Like, I was like, oh my gosh.
My
brother has been to Japan. That's true. My brother went to Japan twice. You're right. You're absolutely right. Thanks for the correction. My brother been to Japan twice. So I knew it was possible. You know what I mean? Like, my brother can do it. I can do it. I can do this. And I was like, I can do this. I'm going to look it up.
No, I was going to say in Gen Z, which is awesome, just like having that mindset. The opposite of that, in terms of like this idea of like, oh, I don't have a passport, like I've never traveled, I don't know. He could just like said that out loud and left it there. What we call that in Gen Z is like a broke boy mindset, right? And like that wasn't your mindset. You didn't have a broke boy mindset, which is really cool. So to wrap up, I don't know if you want. I kind of interrupted you.
No,
I was like, what made you a man? Like what made you a man in fullness?
Yeah, I just think, like I said, living on my own
in totality.
Like already left my home, right? So I was no longer under the coverage of my parents, which they did the best job they could, and they equipped me with a lot of good skills of like I said, learning and love and all these and respect, great values that I had, and then the Lord obviously matured me.
Sorry, real quick.
Yeah.
The Lord matured you. I literally just repictured "Make a Man Out of You," but God singing it to you.
That's pretty funny.
You're unsuited for the wage of war, so pack up, go home with the...
You know what's funny?
I literally just thought through that whole entire song with the Lord doing that because I feel like that's what he did.
What's super funny about that is that I was watching in my apartment or whatever Captain America: The First Avenger, and I just started crying. I was like that same kind of scene with Steve Rogers is like the scrawny before he becomes Captain America, before he gets the super serum, and he's like the heart of gold and everything. He's sacrificing. He's trying to climb the post. He can't. But he uses his smarts and brains, and he's trying to
just like Mulan.
And just like Mulan, like that. Like he has to think outside the box to excel because he's unsuited for war and everything like that. And in my heart, I'm like crying. I'm weeping. I'm like, why am I so emotional right now to see this man striving and not being good enough or whatever? It has to be good enough. I know he's going to become Captain America. I have no idea how it's going to happen though. And I just kind of resonated with that, where it's like the discipline he had, the heart he had, not the charisma, none of that, but the inner qualities. And I just started crying. Like, man, I felt that. I really did feel that way. The Lord was ministering to me, maturing me, preparing me, the spiritual warfare for marriage, for the higher callings that I was going to embrace one day. And I just felt just keep going through boot camp.
I think, any man, they have this mindset of like, I am a man. And if you ask them what makes them a man, they can all come up with something. But I feel like your mindset was focused on not trying to be a man, but you were just focused on trying to learn about who God is, who he called you to be, what it meant to follow him. And those things led to manhood, you know? Yeah. So it was like what your focus was on. Because I think if your focus was on what makes me a man, it would be really easy to succumb to how other people or society or media defines manhood.
Or to be offended. When you come across a woman, you might feel insecure. But my security, my manhood was in Christ. Absolutely. I wasn't intimidated by women that were strong black women that that don't need no man. You know what I mean? I was intimidated by that. Yeah, he made me to the man he wanted me to become, and I trusted in him in that process.
This can be part of our Valentine's Day episode.
It's a love story, baby, just say. She owns Kansas City now.
Oh my gosh, no. Kansas owns her.
Yeah.
Good little recap.
Adios.
So, like I'm praying or whatever. I'm in seminary.
Yeah, bro told me.
What?
I told her something my brother told me.
Yeah. Oh, got you. So maybe, man, that's crazy. I didn't know he told you. That's crazy.
You know how close me and my brother are.
That's crazy.
You just say the D word on the pod.
What?
You said that's crazy?
Yeah, you cussed on the pod.
Oh, my bad. That's crazy.
We'll bleep it out.
Or you just cut the whole thing. Anyways,
this is the cussing Christian pod now.
It is.
I'm gonna start marking it explicit.
Not for writers.
E next to
right.
Some of the episodes.
Right. I didn't know he told you. Wow. Anyways,